Welcome to Wild Type Podcast. I'm Neptune and Chameleon.
I'm Lyssa Lizards.
And we're your Reptile girlies. Okay, should we start with frog shirts or Love Island?
Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, I want to say Love Island, but let's go with frogs first.
Okay, so this is our very first froggy episode.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about like amphibians here or there.
A little bit, but it's definitely like not our forte or like our expertise.
Yes, neither of us keep frogs. You keep an amphibian.
I have a tiger salamander and I am interested in frogs.
Also interested in frogs.
Yes.
So we're happy to share kind of what we know, but also hear from you guys. But of course, we had to rep our frog.
Yeah. For the frog
merch.
episode.
These are both NRBC shirts.
They're actually both her shirts.
That's
if
also
we're being
true.
really honest, because I did not have a froggy shirt. So she brought this one over for me.
Yes. Yes.
But
this
so
one's
cute.
from 21. This one's from 24.
Yeah.
5.
So if we
earlier
needed
this year.
so if we needed proof that we are interested in frogs.
Yeah,
she
I like frogs.
does specifically have two
I
frog
also
shirts.
Noticed that my nails like match
Oh, they do.
my froggy.
They're
For anyone
so
who's watching, not
cutie.
listening,
They're
like,
so cute.
perfectly matches.
I have also, not switching topics, but kind of switching topics on the nail thing. We have heard your requests that you want, you guys need like an up close photo or something of our nails. So we're going to try to post them on the stories, but I have started, when I see nail trends pop up on TikTok, I've started saving some of the audios because I think it might be kind of fun if like each time you and I get our nails done, we post like on the Reptile Girlies accounts and do that. So I'm going to try to do some transitions.
This should be like a mid-July episode. So by the time this comes out, we will have gotten
we should have started doing it by now.
Our nails done and everything else. So.
I need to get mine desperately this week. They're really bad. So
she can be the guinea pig.
Yeah.
First one to do it.
Yeah.
Be good. Okay, so that's frogs coming soon, but we have a couple of things to discuss if you don't care about reality TV or the struggles of being a girl. Just like fast forward a little bit and then get into like
get to the frog
stuff. But what you wanted to say, a little update on Love Island.
It's very, very brief, but last night, if anybody else watches Love Island, it was
we're mid-June.
We are mid-June. It was episode 12 of Love Island season 7, and it was some of the greatest reality television that I have witnessed. And like the psychology and sociology that is like happening on the show right now is like so good. And I just love it. And basically what happened, they had like a recoupling. They do these recouplings. And usually what happens is the contestants pick who they want to recouple with when these like bombshells, aka like new contestants, come into the show. But this time, and I haven't seen this done in the past. I could totally be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this was like a very new thing. So later on as the season goes, we as viewers get to start voting on the app for like certain things. So we get to control some stuff, right?
Okay.
So this was the first time that I know of in Love Island USA where they allowed America to vote for the recoupling on like an individual basis. And it was also earlier on in the season. Usually America doesn't vote until like a little bit later on.
I really want to like contribute to this conversation, but I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's so okay. It's okay. But basically what happened was we got to vote like, okay, here are the new people.
Yes.
Who do we want them to partner up with?
Okay.
Which is so messy because America essentially collectively got together on social media and decided that the one girl, the poor girl is so unhinged. She is like, she deeply needs therapy, and I'm actually genuinely concerned. I don't think she should have been cleared to be on reality TV.
Okay.
They basically decided to split up her and the guy that she's been with from day one because she's a little cuckoo. And they successfully split her up, and she's like actively imploding.
I feel like you need a little like reptile girly reality TV sub chat.
I really do. I really desperately do.
Where you can just, because
I need it so bad.
I want to be that friend for you. I am not.
I know.
I'm not that friend.
But just as much as like I want the actual conversation, I also just get excited to tell you about this stuff. Because it's fun for me.
I just nod and I'm like, huh?
It's like basically what's happening is this one girl who...
Yeah, I feel bad though.
I feel terrible, but the internet basically decided we want to see her crash out, so we're going to put her boyfriend with another girl. Like, it was crazy. And I did not vote that way. Let me just say that.
You need your conscience cleared.
I was not like a vindictive voter. I voted with like who I thought would actually go best with people. But it was some crazy stuff. And so I'm very excited for
episode 12.
2 hours.
There you go.
Yes. So anywho, that's my Love Island spiel. I'm done for now until there's another huge moment. But
love it. We all have our guilty pleasures.
Our little vices. Yeah.
No, that's good. So you had a cute outfit you wanted to wear for this. I had a cute outfit that I wanted to wear. We had to rock the frog shirts, though. There was no debate. That had to happen.
It was required. I literally changed, and I was sad about it, but it's fine.
But I was at the mall literally yesterday, and I got some new tees coming soon to on a podcast episode.
And I'm really excited to see everything that you got.
Thank
Personally, I forgot. I couldn't remember if you were doing that Saturday or Sunday, and so I forgot. And so I want to know.
5 tops and 3 shorts. Is that right? And a sweater.
Yes.
So
and as the non-frugal friend to the frugal friend, I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
For going and shopping.
Yeah, which I do. You know.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
But I did go into some stores and I was like, let's go out of the price range I'm looking for.
Too much for me. That's fair.
But I am wearing new shorts that I got, but cute tops coming to you soon. But I had such a struggle. We are in like peak short season.
Yes, we are.
Right now, right?
Middle of June.
And every girl, in my honest opinion, needs their go-to pair of jean shorts.
Yes, at least one.
At least one. And really you should have 2. You should have a darker shade and a lighter shade.
100%.
And maybe a black pair if you really want to like
white shorts are so freaking cute too at certain times. Oh, I love white shorts sometimes.
I spilled too many things and wipe my hands on my pants too many times.
I love a good white short, but only later in the summer when I've gotten my tan on because then
they just blend in right into
very
your legs.
Pale.
Yeah. So anyways, the jean short, right? And despite having that awesome pair the summer prior, we're being really honest, I had that pair and it got hole in the butt. Like right where the pocket is.
Wait, I think I remember those because I think was I with you when they split? I think I was.
There was a little cheeky action happening in the back, okay? That
I think I was with you in the app.
You know, you have holes in shorts that you want there. This was a hole that you did not want there.
This was in the wrong spot.
And it was in the wrong spot. Yeah. But those fit perfectly in the waist. They were just long enough. So I've been on the hunt for the last like 2 months trying to find a good pair of jean shorts. And it is such a struggle, especially I feel like currently, because the dad shorts are really in. The mom shorts are really in, like baggier fit. The low rise or the really long, like there's just so many different styles of shorts versus I feel like a few years ago.
This is so funny because I have a different opinion.
So here's what I want out of a pair of shorts, okay? I want high rise. Yes. I want a high rise short. I don't want mid or low rise.
Me too.
I want like a medium wash and I would like to have a pair that doesn't have holes in it. Like don't get me wrong, I'll get down with like a fringy pair of shorts, but like.
Yeah, it's nice to have both. Like
exactly.
Again, I like to have light, dark, holy, no holy.
Yes.
I like to have.
And so my go-to is going to be not a holy one.
Yeah.
And I want a long enough inseam that my butt cheeks aren't like flapping in the wind, you know, in the back. And then
you're not catching a breeze.
No, I want just enough coverage that I can like, good. And I'll wear them around my grandma and not feel
okay.
weird about it, you know? So I'm like, that's what I was looking for. But all I could find were like dad shorts that were like really long, which is a style, but not my go-tos. Or they were like up your junk, like they were like micro shorts.
I was gonna say micro shorts, like that, which is unfortunately not a trend that I personally can get.
Or they
behind.
were low rise. I'm like, my worst nightmare is a low rise micro short.
No, as a girl that entered high school in like 2007, 2008, I would rather die than have like the Daisy Dukes low rise. Like that is my literal nightmare.
And then I go to buy a pair of shorts that I thought were okay. They were dad shorts. And I was like, you know what? I can pull off the dad short. $75.
Oh.
I was like, what? For one pair of shorts?
It's because there's more denim. Yeah.
Okay. But the micro shorts, those are the cheap. I don't know. Okay. Anyways, what are your thoughts on jean shorts though?
Okay. So very similar where like I like to have, you know, a variety of things and I am very specific about what I like. However, that has since changed for me.
Okay.
This year.
Oh,
So
hot off the press.
I think I told y'all I was in Colorado for like my brother's thing like a while ago, at like maybe like a month or two ago. And while I was there,
Not to get me confused with the other Colorado trip you also recently took.
I've been in Colorado multiple times in the last like 6 weeks. But the first time I went to Colorado, I was with like my mom, my dad, and like my brother were there. My sister was surprisingly not there, but my brother was. And so anyway, my mom loves to shop. So we popped into like a Nordstrom Rack, which is like one of our favorite little spots. And I have always liked shorter shorts, right? Like growing up as someone who like the Bermuda shorts were very in when I was in middle school, and I hated them in middle school. I thought that they were so ugly. Mom shorts, gross, losers wore those. Like I hated the Bermuda shorts in middle school. And now I tried on my first pair of like denim longer shorts, and I love them so much. I love them so much.
Oh, that's good.
And I've never, ever in my whole life been like, yeah, the longer shorts are for me. I've always thought that they were ugly. I love them. And to make it even worse and even crazier, and this just makes me feel like I'm getting old, my mom and I walked out of the dressing room, didn't know what either of us had like grabbed because we like went through the store on our own.
Same shorts?
We put on the same shorts at the same time, and we both bought them.
Twins.
But I love them. They've very quickly become my favorite pair of denim shorts.
Oh, I love that for you, though.
But I'm realizing, I think it's because my biggest issue with denim shorts, and I think a lot of girls probably struggle with this, it's not like a body image issue thing, but it is very much like if I sit down and the shorts are like constricting my thighs, I will be self-conscious the whole time that I'm wearing them.
Oh, I'm very aware that I'm wearing
like that is
shorts right now.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. So it's like if they are even just a little bit tight around the thighs, I can't even. If I even tug them on, like that's probably my biggest thing. And what I like about them being a little bit longer is that they're looser.
Yes.
It's so nice.
The ones I'm wearing now have just a little, like they're not like super tight on they're fitted in the waist, but then they've got
they look great.
and then they're comfy on the thighs, but like the micro shorts though,
those
that
I
are
can't.
like they're really short. And I'm not talking like micro, but they're just like shorter shorts, okay?
Yeah.
Where
the
like
Daisy Dukes.
Standing up, you're totally fine, but when you're seated, then they're like really short or really tight.
Just like how we have standing jeans and sitting jeans, we have standing shorts and we have sitting shorts.
That's exactly right.
That
like, what activities am I going to be doing?
Yes, because I have at least like 2 pairs of jeans that like I can't sit in. It's not happening. It's just not happening. Yep. So those are the ones that I wear on a night out where I'm like walking around and I'm not going to be sitting down for dinner, you know? But I feel like when it comes to shorts, it's like you have a certain type of tightness or lack of tightness that you prefer.
Yep.
You usually prefer, lighter or darker, holes or no holes. Length can totally vary. And don't get me wrong, the longer ones, I'm obsessed with those, but I am also still on the market for a shorter pair because I currently don't have any.
And you want options.
Yes.
Yeah, you want options for sure. So anyways, I knew I wasn't the only one or you were the only one, just like the struggles of jean shorts and also just like styles, changing of what's available. Yeah. Because like the places I usually go for my shorts, like they only have a small table of high rise. All the other ones are low, mid rise. And I'm like, my worst nightmare.
Which makes me sad because to your point earlier, like a few years ago, high rise jeans and shorts were like the only thing
They're
around.
my favorite.
They're my favorite. And you know what's hilarious? As I just mentioned, I went into high school in like 2008, 2007. I wouldn't have been caught dead wearing high rise at that time.
I feel like
of
they
year.
didn't even really have them.
They didn't even have
low
them.
rise and mid, like mid rise was the highest option.
It was. There was no high rise back in the day, and I would not have wanted it. I called those mom jeans, and I hated them. Now it's all that I wear.
I live by my high rise.
I know. It's been funny getting older and seeing truly the trends like being cyclical and like coming back.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's
absolutely. I mean, the baggy jeans you're rocking are like very 90s.
Yep, very.
Right? And they're making their way back around.
Now instead of what did they used to call them? They were I forget what they used to call them in the 90s, but now they're called barrel jeans. So they come back with like different names and you're like,
that's the same thing.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Okay, so that's our little segment on jean shorts.
Yes.
Let us know your favorite places, I guess.
And if you can't tell, some of these segments are just like us in our daily lives being like,
literally,
I want to discuss this.
Yes. That's 99% of the podcast. The 1% is when you guys make a suggestion. Yeah. But really, it's whatever we want to talk about, whatever we're dealing with. Okay, so I had this idea. So like truth or...
fact or fib?
Yes, but I was trying to come up with like a cute way to introduce it. You know, true or false. But instead of false, fib.
Yes.
And not just fib, but like amphibian. So we're going truth or fib. And I think I'm the cleverest person ever for coming up with this.
Truth or amphibian?
Yes.
Yeah, I love it.
Truth or fib, amphibian facts. And so how it's going to go down is you have a list of facts, some true, some not true, and I have to guess if it's truth or fib.
Yes. And so there are 10 total. If we get through them all, we'll see. But I have 5 facts and 5 fibs. So you have to, so it's half and half. It could literally go 50-50.
And I would say if someone asked me to like rate my current frog knowledge, A+ to like an F, I'd give myself like a C.
Yeah, that's
like
fair.
I don't feel like I'm crazy knowledgeable, so I'm really hoping to like learn some things from this. But I like know I think a couple of things about frogs. But
so I'm very excited.
Give me what you got.
And some of these I didn't even know because I definitely did some like research. Yeah, but that's okay. It's
50-50 shot.
This is also more for just like telling you guys about like some of these fun facts too. So like,
and so I can use my segment idea.
Yes. Okay. So, despite being one of the most popular frogs in the world, Kermit the Frog actually doesn't have a frog species who specifically looks like him.
And I'm supposed to guess if that's...
fact or fib?
I'm going to say fib.
It is fib.
Okay.
You are correct.
Okay.
So, however, here's the funny part. Kermit the Frog is decades and decades old, right?
Yeah.
The frog that he actually very specifically looks like was only discovered in 2015.
Oh. So they came up with a frog
him,
and then they found a species that looks like him.
So he technically, it kind of is fact in the sense that like he wasn't modeled after a specific frog.
But there is a frog that does look
just like him. And it is called, I'm going to butcher this, Hyalinobatrachium dianae in Costa Rica.
Does it have a common name?
I didn't see one.
Okay.
So
look that up in your free time.
Yeah. But I thought that was really fun.
That's awesome. Okay, got one right.
Like reptiles, amphibians do not usually care for their young after the eggs have been laid. So, you know, not laid. I definitely said that wrong. But like after they've hatched or like
because they're like little tadpoles.
Because they're tadpoles, yeah.
But like, why am I picturing like a tadpole latching on to like an adult frog?
I don't know.
But I feel like they have like little froggy colonies. They all kind of like hang out together.
That's fair.
The little tadpole doesn't need the adult.
Usually, at least to my knowledge, most frog legs need to be laid in the water as well. So like,
I'm going to say, so it's saying like most reptiles, the parents don't hang out. Okay, I'm going to say true.
That is a fib.
Dang.
And so
the little baby froggies do hang out with the adult froggies.
I be very proud of me because I definitely pulled off that fib very well because you were correct in the fact that many frog species will actually guard and feed the babies after they've like...
Okay.
And on top of that...
I'm like, why is this sitting in my head right now?
Dart frogs, this is totally what you're thinking of. Dart frogs even carry their tadpoles on their backs.
Okay.
So I fully tricked you.
I want partial credit.
You can get partial credit. You have like 1.5 correct.
Thank you. Okay. I'm also a really bad test taker because you just witnessed how I was like, I think I know. And then I talked myself out of it and then I get the wrong answer. But I'm like, but I thought I knew.
I feel like you and I were both the kids in school that like did really well on projects and papers, but tests did horrible.
100%. Yeah. And I did all the extra credit.
Yeah. Oh, me too. Yeah.
And all the homework assignments.
I would make A's on all my projects and then get like C's on like all my tests.
Literally me.
Every time.
Okay.
Some frogs can survive being frozen at sub-zero temperatures, -80 degrees Fahrenheit, and then thaw out later when they warm back up.
True.
That is very true.
Yes.
Solid. And that is a crazy fact. And literally, like, the article that I was reading said that, like, as soon as they're thawed out, they'll just, like, hop away like nothing happened.
Lots of species do that.
Well, like, crocodiles will, and not crocodiles, crocodilians in general, like alligators will do this too in Florida. If it gets really cold, they'll stick their snout up so that they can breathe and then, like, lower their temp.
It's very Captain America-esque.
Very, very. Yes, but so the specific species that this was referencing was wood frogs in Alaska, which I thought was really cool. Okay. But that's not the only species that can do that. But -80 Fahrenheit.
That's real cold.
That's crazy.
It's not like they have fur either.
Like, I can understand like 0 temps or even like 10 degrees or something. But -80 is wild to me.
You won't catch me out there.
Yeah. Anywho, one frog species can jump over 10 feet.
10 feet?
Mm-hmm. That's honestly bigger than this room, I think.
I'm leaning towards true, but whenever there's a number in a fact that you're trying to guess, like 2 truths and a lie, and then it'll be like, actually, it's 9 feet.
It's actually 9. You're incorrect.
False. So that's what's saying in my head. I'm like, is it actually 10 feet or is it like 9.8 feet? I'm going to go with true.
That is true. It is true. I specifically didn't trick you on that number one because I knew I knew I could, and I didn't, and I put it in the fact section instead.
Yes. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
But you see that though on dating apps where it's like 2 truths and a lie, and it's like I've been to 17 countries, and it's like
actually
false.
It's 18.
Yeah, that's the lie. And I'm like,
I hate that because I, like, not to brag, but like back when I was on the dating apps, like I had some like really good ones. Like I was an extra in a TV show that James Franco was in, and like that's one of my favorite ones to put in there. And so like I have some like really good ones.
Yes.
And I have
so
like
don't be caught up in the numbers of things.
I hate those like little gotcha details. So I didn't do that to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
The most toxic frog, like, in the world could kill up to 5 adults via its skin toxins.
Ooh, 5 adults. I mean, I definitely know there's some toxic frogs.
For sure.
And they're trying to, like, take out animals so they can live. 5 adults seems like a lot. But my gut is saying true. True.
It's a fib.
Dang.
And I did screw you on the number one there. I'm really sorry.
Feeling.
But you know what's even crazier? It's not 5. You said 5 sounds like a lot. 10.
10
to 20. Depending on like the size and height and like weight of the adult.
That could be like a village of people.
I know.
And you're just
I know.
Leap, leap, leap. And
I
then
know.
just like, dead.
Crazy.
That was a little dramatic.
So then like little, but that's okay. Well, and actually the factoid that I saw on the internet said, what did it say? It said 10 to 20 adults or 2 African elephants.
Wow.
Isn't that insane? That actually, that fun fact.
It seems excessive.
It seems so excessive. I thought that was
when
crazy.
are you coming across 2 elephants?
Like what predator is like worth that? Like that just feels crazy. But to follow that up, this one's very interesting. That's okay. So to follow that up, talking about just the toxins that they can have. And so this technically, it's a toxin in the sense that like if you touch it or eat it, it is poisonous. But I don't think it's qualified as like a venom for some reason.
Okay.
But frog toxins were often used, and this is like their skin toxins. So frog toxins were often used by indigenous people on the tips of blow darts for hunting.
Yes, I did know this.
So cool.
Yes, which is so smart.
So smart.
So smart to do that and like very wise.
Yeah.
And,
and
I don't know.
How did they learn how to like extract the toxin? Like how, like I have so many questions.
I have no idea.
I know. I just thought it was fascinating.
What, I don't know if this is a later fact or not, but since we're on the topic of like toxins, dart frogs in particular, it's off of the diet that they eat, which a lot of people don't realize. And I could totally understand how like in captivity, you're like, oh, how could you keep like such a dangerous whatever, but it's not because their diet in captivity is not.
Yeah, I think I could totally be wrong. Somebody in the comments, please correct me because I'm genuinely curious. I think they eat in like their natural habitat. It's like some type of like fire ant or something.
Yes, we discussed this if you remember way back on that like cop show where they had the poisonous dart frog and that was like how they died. And I like looked it up and I'm like, it's a little fuzzy, but I think it's like both the insects and plant matter. Like it's a combination of multiple things that makes that happen. Not just like one particular.
Fascinating.
But there's a bunch of frog species, so who knows?
Super cool.
Okay.
Super, super cool. By now you've heard us talk all about Scratches, the social app that helps exotic pet owners like us find their people.
You can add photos of you and all your scaly babies, set your filter to reptiles, and start scrolling through your local pet parents who get it. Think of Scratches as your way of avoiding the ever-looming "so do you have any pets?" question. Whether you're looking for friendship, romance, or someone who can pet sit your critters, your community is just a new match away.
Download Scratches today and start connecting with reptile keepers in your area. Available on iOS and Android. Okay, Neptune, what are your top 2 feeder bugs for all your critters?
Dubious for protein and black soldier fly larvae for lots of calcium.
Simpton offers a wide variety of insects like silkworms, dubia roaches, waxworms, and our favorites, black soldier fly larvae.
I've also heard the entomologists at Simpton have customized the diet of their black soldier fly larvae to maximize their calcium content, so there's no need to dust them with calcium.
So if you're interested in trying them out, use code THEWILDTYPE at SimptonBSF.com for 15% off your order.
Do you sell reptiles? Be sure to check out the Palm Street app, a place where you can have your very own live auctions to help find your reptiles' amazing homes in a community full of thousands of reptile lovers. To apply to be a seller, go to page.palmstreet.app/reptile.
They prioritize ethical breeding and trading practices, ensuring all reptiles on their platform come from responsible sources. Once approved, Palm Street's reptile team will guide you through every step. From setting up your reptile shop to going live for the first time, you'll get hands-on support to sell confidently, safely, and responsibly.
It's officially July, so it's time to start planning your purchases for Pangea's summer sale.
From July 9th through the 18th, you can get 15% off on isopods and some great discounts on geckos too. For their dry goods sales, there will be 10% off bulk cork bark or 20% off our favorite gecko dishes and ledges and even more too. The best part is the incentives. If you spend over $125, you get a free eco dish and a free t-shirt if you spend over $150.
And don't forget to check out their new products while you're shopping the hot summer sale at PangeaReptile.com. We're so excited to introduce the Reptile Girlies to our favorite reptile-friendly coffee and tea brand, Cold Blooded Caffeine. Our favorite thing about them is that they donate 5% of all their proceeds to wildlife conservation to ensure reptiles and amphibians have a place to call home in the wild, as well as in our homes.
And if you know me, you know I'm obsessed with herbal teas. So for any of our fellow tea lovers, they source some of the highest quality loose leaf teas in the world.
Cold Blooded Caffeine offers a wide variety of coffee like their Rainforest Blend, single origin options, and collaborations with some of the biggest names in the reptile world.
For 25% off your first order, use code WILDTYPE at coldbloodedcaffeine.com. Are you looking for a new enclosure for one of your reptile babies? Be sure to check out Cages with a K. Each enclosure is made to order by their team in Minnesota, which means they can even do custom builds.
The enclosures are made from high-quality PVC with tempered glass doors allowing for superior heat and humidity retention. They offer screen tops, side vents, and belly heat customization options to ensure the ideal setup for any environment.
So whatever dream home you want built, Cages has you covered. Use code WILDTYPE50 to get $50 off any order over $300 at reptilecages.com. So this next one is, there's a frog species that can flip over and play dead like an opossum so well that it can even fool predators.
I feel like that's true. That's like a very basic defense
You are correct.
mechanism.
You are correct. Yeah. And this is also just a fun little secondary fact. That specific frog species that this one was referencing is called the paradoxical frog. And the reason it's called the paradoxical frog is because the paradox is the fact that the tadpole is actually like double the size of the adult frog.
Oh.
Isn't that interesting?
I'd love to see like a time lapse.
I know. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, I want to see a video of it like fully morphing into the frog. Because that means that instead of it like growing bigger, it like shrinks down.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yep. So, I love that.
Yeah. So fun little fact. Okay, let's see. What else have we got? Okay. The main difference between amphibians and reptiles is that amphibians are somewhat more aquatic.
True. False. Phib?
There's a lot.
What do you mean?
There's a lot of other differences.
But you didn't say that is a difference though.
Yes.
What say rephrase how you say it.
That's fair.
How did you originally
I'll give
phrase
you another
it?
half a point for that one. So I said the main difference, and that is a difference, but it's not, I wouldn't say the main difference. I would say the main difference would be like how they breathe, which is like through their skin usually.
Yes. Okay.
But I phrased that incorrectly. That's fair.
I was like, the way that my brain was like, is this a difference? Yes, it's a difference. Not, is it? But main is subjective. So I see what you're saying of like the breathing through the.
I should have been more specific. That's on me.
Breathing through the skin. Because I was like, what do you mean that's not?
What are you talking about? That's a huge one. And that is, so like most amphibian species are somewhat aquatic. And because of that, another big difference that they have is their temperature regulation. So they typically need more cooler, more humid environments versus like warm. They don't do really well in like warm climates. They also have major differences in egg laying. So most amphibian eggs are in water, and they usually go from aquatic to land dwelling.
And don't they lay like a
ton of eggs?
Yeah.
Like a
reptiles, even large laying species like chameleons, for example, are not laying as many frog eggs as like
the frogs. They lay an insane amount of eggs, but then also their breathing. Most amphibian species, I think, can breathe through their skin in addition to their lungs, which is like crazy.
I was really hoping that alone was going to be a fact. So I was like,
I've got one. I've got one along those lines. Okay, so
cool.
Stay tuned. But the temperature regulation, and then also their skin texture and function as well, just in general.
Very different.
Very deeply, deeply different.
Yes. Versus reptiles are going to be primarily scaly.
Yeah. And like dry, which is funny because one of the people that blah, blah, blah. My brain just went mush. Reboot. Basically, one of the things that a lot of people will say about reptiles in general is that they're slimy, and that's simply not the case. Usually when they're thinking slimy, they're thinking amphibians. They're not thinking reptiles.
Yeah, because you think snakes that slither, that they would be slimy, but they're really, really not.
Yeah.
Also, like a lot of people who soak the reptiles, and we've talked about this in like the hydration episode that we did of like, oh, they're going to like absorb the water through their skin and hydrate that way. And I'm like, that's not like a reptile thing. That's an amphibian.
That's an amphibian thing.
So there's also some misconceptions with that.
This is not one of the factor fibs, but it is funny. Amphibians do actually like shed their skin a little bit. It doesn't look anything like what reptiles do. It just kind of like gloms off of them.
Yes, and they'll like eat it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
I've seen videos. I think it was like a white tree frog.
Yeah.
Someone had caught their frog like shedding, so I just
it's hard to catch because it just kind of like ugh. It's so weird.
I was like, good to know, because I would have been that frog owner, been like, what's happening to my frog?
I have literally never seen Kermit ever shedding anything. So I don't know. I've never witnessed it, and I've had her since 2018.
I've caught Pluto shed once, I think, ever.
Yeah.
So
they're just secretive little beings.
Pluto's not an amphibian, by the way. He's a crested gecko.
Yes. Different.
I was just trying to contribute to the conversation.
No, you're so good. Okay, so this one is fascinating. There is a frog that breaks its own bones in its toes to push sharp claws through its skin for defense.
Okay. Say again. It breaks its bones
in its toes to push sharp claws through its skin and its feet for defense.
Feels like very Wolverine-esque.
Doesn't it?
Do I think this is true or not? Fact or fib? Truth or false? You said this is fascinating, implying maybe that it's true.
Could be.
But you're being sneaky today, so...
I am being sneaky.
I'm going to go fib.
It's fact.
Dang it.
And you know what's even crazier? It's called the Wolverine frog, so you nailed it.
But I still did not pass the test, and I have to redo 8th grade now.
No, but apparently it's called either the Wolverine frog or the hairy frog. It's got
cute.
like a couple different. So
what a weird thing,
isn't that crazy? And the fact that like it will do that on impulse for defense is insane to me.
Defense mechanisms just in general. Maybe we can do an episode on that of just like weird,
jot that down.
Weird defense mechanisms, because we've talked about crested geckos, like not just cresties, but other gecko species like that drop their tails for defense, and you're just like, see ya, like
I'm
lose your tail.
Literally writing this down on our list right now so that we don't forget.
But then also to like do like. And how quickly does it happen? Because Wolverine's instantaneous, right? Yeah. He's like ready to go.
I would also like to see a time lapse of that.
Right. Because if you're under attack, you're like,
and you're popping out your toes. Like
I need 2 to 3 business days before
my toes come out. Like I would assume.
And
it
then
would
what's
have
the
to be
regeneration process? Like, do the claws just like fall out,
Do
why
the
do they
bones
not
regrow
just
back
keep
together?
them all the time,
Right.
like a cat does,
Right.
that can just retract them? Questions. I have questions.
Lots of questions for this frog. When we catch this frog, we will be interviewing.
We'll put a little third microphone.
Yeah, you can just like,
Tell us all about it.
I have my really cute little pink one I can set
There
up.
you go.
Okay, so I think this is our last one.
Okay.
So, despite many being able to breathe through their skin, all frogs have lungs and can breathe through their lungs or their skin.
Phib.
Correct.
Yes.
So, there are actually some frog species that do not have lungs at all because they solely rely on being able to breathe through their skin.
Nailed it.
Crazy.
I know. Frogs are just like these crazy things.
I know.
Also, I feel like we should talk about like frogs versus toads because the amount of people who
Writing
like
this down as well.
do future episodes, the amount of people who have called a toad a frog,
Countless times. Countless.
just like
Frogs.
calling like a venomous snake poisonous. I'm like, it's a toad.
It's a toad. Get with the program. It's a toad.
It's a toad.
Yeah.
It's not a frog.
Yeah. And truth be told, I actually don't even know all the specific differences. It's just one of those weird things that because I've been in the reptile hobby for so long, I can just look at a toad and be like, that is not a frog, that is a toad.
Yeah.
So I would like us to do that episode at some point in
Yeah,
our
maybe
future
we can do
amphibian facts.
Fact or fib, toad edition.
Toad edition.
Yeah.
I like that.
And maybe I can come with them and
I
then
love it.
you have to
We
guess
just
them.
planned another episode, y'all.
Love it. No, it's fun though. And I feel like I was on the right track
Yeah. You were.
for a lot of those.
were,
But
yeah.
I definitely feel smarter now that we've talked about
I
it.
also feel smarter after doing this minor research.
I also feel confident that there was at least one of those facts
Oh, yeah.
that you listening didn't know.
Yeah, I think so too. That's why what I was trying to do.
There were some really good ones.
I was specifically trying to find some like really weird ones. A couple of those I pulled because I did ChatGPT and I was like, give me the craziest frog facts you know. And so I like got some, that's where the Wolverine one came in.
Yes, and all those have an asterisk next to them because these are off of the internet.
This is
and
true.
ChatGPT.
I did not do extensive fact checking.
So hopefully they're correct. But, you know, this is just a podcast where we just chat about stuff, so you never know.
Several of the websites were .org, but you never know.
You never know.
So.
Yeah, let us know what froggy facts you have,
Yeah.
if they're truth or fib.
I feel like we could also do an episode talking about like which frogs we personally would be interested in because I have a list. Mm-hmm. So
I do. I am exploring more. And now that I have these flightless fruit fly cultures going, which I will be having for months because I still have that second clutch that needs to hatch. So even once the clutch one gets off of the flightless fruit flies,
you could use a froggy friend.
I could use a froggy friend.
You
Yep.
could. Yeah, you could.
So we'll see. I have too much on my plate right now.
You and me both, man.
Baby chameleons are a lot of work.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, so we will get to the frogs
Yup.
later on. But okay, so that I think wraps up our Truth or Fib, little froggy edition. Thank you guys
Solid.
for tuning in. So last thing we want to talk about, I don't really have a clever
Way of bringing this up.
segment name like my Truth or Fib, which I will not let that down because that was brilliant.
It was a great one.
Thank you. Is basically here's what happened. Okay, so I am now in a committed relationship.
Yeah.
Yay.
Woo woo.
However, there's always those people that you had chatted with maybe a couple months prior, a couple of years prior. And
Serious, not serious.
correct.
Anything.
And here's the thing. You go through the breakup, maybe formal or informal. You ghost, you have a conversation. However things went down,
Yeah.
you separated. You stopped talking. But here's the thing. Then I'm talking guys, okay? I don't have any experience dating girls.
True. Yes.
But with the guys, they always come back.
They literally always come back, all of them.
They always come back. And what I mean by this
Yes.
is even though it's been months, most often years since you've chatted with them,
Especially years.
they will hit you up and be like, hey, how you doing? As if no time has passed.
And you're like, sir, that was 9 lives ago.
And not
What do you
just
mean?
time, but the conversation you literally had last was basically being like,
Yeah.
we're done.
Or it was the ghosting. Or
Yes.
it was
like
anything.
you have made it incredibly clear that
Yes.
you are not interested.
Yes.
And then 2 years go
Or
by.
even if you were kind of interested and you were like sad about the situation, they'll be back.
Yes.
They'll be back.
In like 3 years.
Yeah.
They'll come back as if nothing has happened. So what happened to me recently was I had this guy add me on Facebook.
Oh God, yeah.
I'm like, one, who uses Facebook.
Who's popping it? Who's checking in on their exes on Facebook of all places? That's crazy to me.
And what's crazy about this guy in particular is I've never even met him. We matched on a dating app. We got Snapchat.
Weird.
We exchanged numbers. We chatted.
Yeah.
And it became crystal clear that this guy was just wasting my time.
Yeah.
Because I tried multiple times to try and meet up, and it would only be at 11 p.m. on a Friday night.
Yeah.
And I was like, absolutely not.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to meet me, you're going to take me on a date in a public location while the sun is still up.
Absolutely.
Okay? And if you're not down for that, then I'm not interested.
I'm so far gone.
Right?
Yeah.
That was 4 years ago. Okay? Since then.
And he just comes across and casually adds you on Facebook like it's nothing.
Since then, I made up a boyfriend. Way back when, right? When he wasn't getting the hint that I was interested. And I was like, hey, sorry, I started dating someone. Wish you all the best.
Yeah, see ya.
I was not dating anyone, but I was just
wanted him gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then that did the trick for a good 6 months to a year, whatever. Then he comes back, and then I just ended up blocking him because I was like,
too.
Obviously this is not
See ya.
Not happening. And I'm not a blocker, okay?
I'm not either.
We've talked about that,
this,
right?
Yeah.
It's only in what I feel are extreme scenarios that I will block someone. And then he tried to follow my Instagram, blocked him on there, anywhere I could think of, and now I have to block him on Facebook, delete the request and then block him. And so I'm it's been years.
That's crazy.
And I never even met the guy.
See, that's the part that blows my mind because here's the deal. Anybody that you've ever talked to, dated, anything in actual person and have actually met, it's kind of understandable. It's all right, you're single again or whatever, you're bored. I totally understand that. Been there. We've all been there. And you want to check up on somebody that you used to date. That's so rational and reasonable. That is not rational and reasonable.
No, it's been over the course of 4 years.
That is verging on stalking.
Exactly.
I hate that. I hate it a lot, honestly.
And I was bro, what makes you think that I, one, want to be Facebook friends with you? But can we look back at the last 3 conversations we've had where I told you I was dating someone, where you probably got the green messages back, realizing that you've been blocked? You can no longer even find my Instagram handle.
Knowing that you were blocked and still coming back is crazy work. That's crazy work.
I'm I'm not even shocked. I'm not even surprised because they always come back.
Anytime I've ever been blocked by anyone, ever, I'm noted.
Understood. I hear you. Yeah.
I'm so gone, you don't even realize I was there.
Yeah.
I could not be
Message
further
received.
Gone.
Yes.
That is such a personal thing. It's no, if you block me, I am running so far. But speaking of blocking, because I have a similar story of they always come back and it has to do with blocking, which is hilarious. So one of my more serious relationships actually from years and years, a decade ago, so when we broke up, it was really rough because that was at the time, definitely my most serious relationship, his most serious relationship. So like we said, I'm not a blocker. I never block people because I truly take that so personally. I would very much rather unfollow somebody than block them.
Yes.
It just,
there are tiers.
Yeah.
And blocking is in extreme.
And don't get me wrong. If it ever came down to my safety, I would absolutely block somebody.
An extreme scenario.
100%.
Yes.
That's a very different situation. But if I once loved you, I'm never going to block you, right? So, but I understand that some people will for their own well-being, whatever.
Yeah.
Do what's best for you. I don't care. But for me, I never really blocked someone. So when my ex and I broke up, and I started dating someone new within a year of that, I think, when that happened, I can't remember if I think he actually blocked me. And when you block somebody, it also unfollows them. So he blocked me, I think. Actually, no, you know what? He didn't block me. He just unfollowed. So never mind. This isn't really about blocking. But he just unfollowed me. And for I think 2 years after that, continued to follow him. I did not hit the unfollow back because I was I loved you at one point. If I loved you at one point, I'm going to care to an extent of I want to see what you're up to. I just don't harbor bad feelings like that, really. I have some bad feelings about this person, but anywhoozle. So 2 years later, after he had started finally dating someone new, he then took it upon himself to follow me back again. And I got so much satisfaction out of knowing that he had to go to my profile and see follow back and saw that I was never butthurt enough to unfollow him. And be like, oh, you were the one that was like petty and dramatic and had to like block and unfollow me or like whatever. I felt very vindicated.
So to take it a step further, my personal account is private.
Yeah.
So in order to follow it, you have to request it. So I had this guy that I had dated. When we ended things, he unfollowed me, which I feel like is very common, right?
Totally.
You always notice it, but you're never like, oh, like I'm like understood, right? Like,
oh yeah,
I get it. So then a few months after we had ended things, he tried to request to follow me, and I was like, that ship has sailed, man.
Sir.
You unfollowed.
You made the choice.
I probably wouldn't have removed him as a follower, but I'm not going to re-add you.
No, of course not.
So if you take that's done. So that happened, and then the request eventually like disappeared, right? So he took it back.
Yeah,
right?
took it back.
From what I can glean from like the bits and pieces I can put together on social media, he now has a girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
And like maybe like a few months ago, whatever it was, he re-requested me, which is still sitting there.
And here's the funny thing. I think in situations like the one that I just said and like you just said, I think in those situations, they follow almost because they want you to go and look and see that they have a new partner.
I'm like, I don't care.
And you're like, I literally don't care.
I don't care.
Actually couldn't care less at all. Like, I don't care.
I really don't
but
care.
But it feels like they still care. And you're like, why?
Yeah, I wonder what like goes through your head. Of, like,
I don't know.
Or maybe it's because now that you have a person, you feel good.
Right.
So if you
Which I get
see,
that.
like, in your scenario, you or me, like, being happy, then you're okay with it because you have a person.
Right.
Or it could be what you're saying. See, mine's a little more positive. Yours is a little more negative.
Classic.
Of like,
Classic.
neener, look at me. Now I'm good without you.
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing. I don't.
And in my situation,
I don't know.
I know the person. I know what it was.
Okay. It's hard for me to get, because I always give people the benefit of the doubt, and I always assume good intention.
And I should say, knew the person. Definitely don't anymore.
Oh yeah, too much time.
Yeah, but
too much time has passed.
But at the time where I was like, that was all happening, that was like a year and a half to 2 years after the situation. So I was like, I still know you a little bit.
I just want to say though, for anyone who's experiencing this, if they come back,
don't go back.
No. You
it's
ended
never
it
worth
for a
it.
reason, or they left for a reason.
Yes.
And it's so hard when they leave you and you're the one that's hurt, and then they come back and they're like, actually, because you know what they were doing all that time? They were seeing what all the other options were.
Absolutely.
And they know that you're convenient, you're easy, like you'll always be there because you have a soft spot for them because you care for that person, and they're just going to use that and then enjoy that time with you until that happens again. And then it's just this vindictive and vicious. That's
there
what I did.
You go. You blended.
Cycle that is just like you're this ping pong ball. And then how on earth are you supposed to move on and find your peace and find your person that's not going to treat you like a ping pong ball?
Oh yeah. I mean, every guy that I ever had a situationship always came back. It always was like 6 months later, a year later, whatever, like happened again.
Whenever it's convenient for them.
Totally.
It's never on your schedule or your timing or whatever what you need out of the relationship is always convenient for them, and then you're settling for crumbs. Yeah. You deserve the whole pizza, okay? For sure. Not just the little crust crumbs.
Absolutely. And I will say too, like if I were ever to give my daughter, if I had a daughter, like any type of like advice like that, it would literally be just the FYI of like, because I'm sitting here thinking there's that situation, absolutely, of like the breadcrumbing and like all that stuff. Like that is the most common situation. But I'm also thinking about like my teenage self or like my college self when I like liked a guy and like wasn't really sure, and it never really got real, and it was very much like it just never worked out. And some of it could have been timing, some of it could have been vicious like that, but some of it was truly just like it just never worked out, and we were never.
I definitely think they're subconsciously doing it. Like I don't think they're
they don't always know.
They don't realize it.
Yeah, well, some of them do. Some of them do. Anyway, nuance, lots of nuance as always, but sometimes there are those situations where like the timing just never worked out, or like you just never worked out and both people had pure intentions. There are those situations. Like I ended up seriously dating some people where like that was the situation. So I do get all of that. But like if I were ever to have like a daughter and she was like sad because something like wasn't working out, like I would literally tell her, they always come back. They always come back around. It always happens. Whether you decide that you deserved it, it depends on how they treated you.
Sure.
Absolutely. And it depends on the nuance of your situation. But like, if that was a good situation and it just like didn't work out because of like school or moving or travel or like life, like they'll always come back. The potential is always to come back, whether you want it to or not, and whether you think you deserve that treatment again or not is a different situation.
Yeah, but you hold the power, right? It's your choice. It's your life. It's however you want to spend your time with whoever you want to spend your time. And there's just something that feels so good.
It's so satisfying.
When they crawl.
It's so satisfying.
Crawl back, you know?
Oh, I actually had a guy like physically sprint to my apartment one time, which was really fun for me.
Have you anyone since getting married like hit you up from your like past dating life?
I've had a couple people like follow me that weren't previously following me, that like stuff like that's happened. I've had like, actually, this was so weird. I had a guy slip into my TikTok DMs when this was actually one that was kind of for my safety. And I actually did block this person on like Instagram because it was like he wouldn't stop texting me after I like made it so clear I like didn't want to meet up with him again. And like this was a guy I went on like literally one date with, and it was very bad and not good and whatever. He clearly just didn't get the message. And in that conversation, this was, I want to say this was probably like 2018 or so. This was back when I was still not super confident talking about all the reptile stuff. LOL. Now I have a podcast with you. But like, at the time, I was a little bit hesitant to tell people that like factoid about me because of how it could be perceived. And so I was like hesitant to tell him like about the reptiles on that like first date, but it ended up coming up. And so I did, but I was definitely a little bit more reserved about it back then. This idiot, and I will call him an idiot, found my TikTok years later after I'm married and sends me this DM that is so like, the brain is not in the cranium. Like it's not there.
The cranium.
Like this man literally sent me this DM basically being like, hey, it's so cool to like see what you're doing on TikTok. And then literally proceeds to say something along the lines of like, if you would have talked about this with like so much more like this kind of confidence, like I think people really would love it, blah, blah. And I'm like, you found my TikTok that has how many followers, and you think I'm still feeling a type of way talking about this?
Yeah.
Sir.
Years have passed.
The ship has sailed. I am no longer mildly insecure about my hobby. Thank you. We are so good. I'm also married, and now I was gonna say that. Yeah. And now I found a new platform to block you from. Goodbye. Yeah. It was insane. That was a crazy one. And I actually don't think it was, because this was maybe when we were engaged. So this maybe wasn't since like the wedding, but this was when we were engaged, I think. So,
to be wed.
Yeah.
So
yeah, same thing. And like, but so I've had some people like add me on Facebook or like follow me or whatever. And I'm like,
yeah, no.
Why? I'm like, my husband is prominent on my personal Instagram.
And that's the thing too, right? Like if you're in a relationship but it's not really public knowledge, then that's not their fault, right? Like then you have to be like, hey, just letting you know, like I'm in a relationship or married, whatever, like then you have to like volunteer that information because you're not publicly being like, hey everyone, which is totally your prerogative. Like that is so whatever you are comfortable sharing on the internet is your choice. Yeah. But just recognize that if you're not making that outwardly obvious to someone who isn't in the know,
you may have to explain
then
that.
You just have to take that step and be like,
my husband's all over my stuff.
That's what I'm saying. But there are people who will know that you're married or in a relationship and still shoot their shot, and you're just like,
even worse. We hate that.
After you've already told them you're not interested.
Yeah. It's gross. It's gross behavior. We don't like that.
Anyways, so it just like, I saw a guy add me up. I didn't even know who he was. I had to like
refresh your brain.
Yes, because I don't know his last name. Yeah. Right? And so Facebook was his first name, last name. And I was like, this picture looks oddly familiar.
Oh, that's so weird.
And so then I had to look up his name in my contacts to see. And I was like, that's who.
Block.
Yes. And so I'm like, well, to your point, another platform for me to.
Truly. It's like everywhere you find me, you gonna get blocked.
Yeah.
If in that situation. Mine was very much like a safety thing. I was like, this is not okay.
No, it's very concerning. Yeah. And like, I mean, I don't share my like public information. Like I try and keep my personal life on the DL on the internet as much as possible. It's why I have like a private account, all these things.
Yeah.
But even still, there's weirdos and they still find a way.
Absolutely.
So I'm like, not messing with that. But
no, not a fan.
Anyways, just know you're not the only one. Yeah. We have been there. This happens to all my girlfriends that I know who are in the dating world.
I feel like after you hit the age of like 28, it just becomes a common saying. They always come back.
Well, yeah, because you have basically everyone you've dated from your early 20s until whatever age you are now. And so, like, that could be, depending on your dating history, like a couple people, right? That, like, would it be in
this just
you
popped
have history
into my head.
with?
I even had a really horrible situation where a guy got arrested for some, like, very scary things. And I immediately was like, see you never.
See you never.
See you literally never.
Yeah.
And this man continued to still text me after I made it abundantly clear that I could not be running further away.
This thing that you did that was like really horrible.
And this man was also calling me from the jail. And I was like,
I don't think we're
no, the minute
this is done.
The minute that I got a phone call being like, this is the prison, I was like, goodbye. I'm so concerned.
No.
So they literally always come back, even from jail. So
wild. Absolutely wild.
Oh,
but anyways,
crazy.
Feel free to share your stories. We're always nosy, always want to know what's going on. But thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Yeah.
I feel like this was like a good variety.
Yeah,
right? We've got
all
some
over
like
the place.
Dane stuff, frog stuff, jean shorts, you name it.
Yeah.
Love Island.
We got everything.
All the things here on the podcast.
Very well-rounded group of gals.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. But we have new episodes every Tuesday at the Wild Type Podcast. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you can find a podcast, you can find us. You can check me out, Neptune the Chameleon, everywhere.
And Listless Lizards everywhere.
Otherwise, thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode, and we'll catch you next week.
Bye, girlies.